I think it's recording already. Yeah. Sorry, but I'm, a little bit ill. Here you have, okay. You can see the presentation, right? Activity. What are minimal pairs? Can anybody share their definition or a brief explanation of minimal pairs, please? From your homework, what you did for the dynamics in class? Can you hear me?
Hello. Morning.
Thank you.
Well, what I think about minimal pairs is that like when we talk about minimal pairs, we talk about words that are very similar, but there is just a change in one letter, maybe a vowel or maybe a consonant. Like I don't know, like berry, the fruit, a berry, and berry with B, no? But I'm not sure if that's a definition, but that's what I understand about minimal pairs.
You're right, Victor. You're right. Just one thing to be added here. It's not that they change one letter, but one sound. Okay, it's a sound. You describe it very well. You describe it very well. And you're right. Your example is quite accurate. It's insightful. Now, how can those minimal pairs be useful to learn new vocabulary and pronunciation? Well, first and foremost, because you can increase your vocabulary repertoire, right? If you know two words which are not quite related regarding meaning, but they are quite related regarding pronunciation or even spelling, you're likely to discriminate both scenarios, and instead of learning a single word, you're learning two different words. Now, how can you learn pronunciation? Well, because you need to look up the word in your dictionary. You need to take a care of the codes of the International Phonetic Alphabet and to try to listen to the word. If you look it up in an online dictionary, you will be able to listen to the pronunciation and to repeat it so that you can reproduce it. Now, for homework, you will design 10 flashcards with minimal pairs, okay, online or the way you are doing it. That's what you're going to do. That's homework number one. 10 flashcards. Flashcards, okay. Let's get in. This is an example of a minimal pair. Yeah, another one because Victor just provided with one. Take a look at it, okay? The spelling is different, but the most important part here regarding minimal pairs is the sound. Sheep, sheep, it's a long sound, and ship, it's a short sound. How can you discriminate the sounds? Because of the International Phonetic Alphabet codes and because you can listen to it online. Sheep, ship. Only one sound changes. So the definition would be that minimal pairs are pairs of words with only one phonemic difference. In order to decide whether a pair of words is a minimal pair or not, you need to you need to know what sounds make up the word and ignore the word spelling. Okay, it's not about the letters, it's not about the spelling, it's about the sound. Okay, so you concentrate on the sound. This is useful, of course, to develop your pronunciation. Yeah, It's very useful. Native English speakers might find doing this very easy. But for us foreign language learners, well, it's a little bit more complex and we need to look up the words in a pronunciation dictionary or, you know, in a dictionary where you can see how to pronounce it. Yeah. And then look it up in a video, maybe in a song or online, you know, you just listen to people pronouncing the word and you make sure it is correct regarding the International Phonetic Alphabet. It's good for your listening practice, for your oral production, of course. And it's good because you start training your hearing abilities. No, wait. No. Okay. Now, we cannot work in pairs, but let's work individually. Identify as many minimal pairs as you can by focusing on vowel sound and final consonant sound only. So these are keys for you, okay? These are clues. By vowel sound or final consonant sound. If you can link every single minimal pair, wow, would be great. Underline the vowel sound of the pairs by looking up the pronunciation in your dictionaries. Okay, so you have a couple here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pairs. Okay, 13 pairs. Take just 1 minute to try to form as many minimal pairs as possible. Okay, take your time, take a couple of sets. Wait a minute, I need a piece of paper. Oh my God. I'm feeling a little bit ill. I'll go running so that I can breathe better. Okay, couple of them. Okay. Oh shit. You got a couple of them? Yeah? Can anybody give me one example of a minimal pair here? Well, not the one I provided with because you already know sheep and ship, right? Sheep is an animal. Sheep is an animal. Yeah. And ship, well, it's a means of transportation by the sea, you know, ship. They are different. They have different meanings. They have different pronunciations. And they have a similar spelling. Another example? Yeah, please.
First is
Yeah?
tampoco, creo que no.
No, well, think it twice. Take your time. Yeah, you said first, right? First.
And desk.
First and where is the desk? No, they have three different sounds. But maybe first and fast. St, st, us. First and fast. Look the words up in your dictionary and you will see that they have different symbols for the sounds. First, fast. First, fast. That's a vowel sound. A vowel sound. First, fast. Another example, please. One more example.
That, but.
Okay, this one, that, but, right? Yeah, well, that could be one, of course. Very well. And you will see how the representation of the sound is, you know, a capital letter A inverted. Yeah, and bad is different, but. Right, very well. Another minimal pair. This could be one. Of course, bat is an animal, right? It's an animal. It could also be, you know, a piece of equipment for playing a baseball, right? Yeah. And but is a conjunction. It's a conjunction that links two different sentences, one affirmative, one negative, or one negative, one affirmative. Contrast, you know, is a contrast conjunction. Very well, but. It's different, the pronunciation is different. It's a vowel sound. Another example.
Wet and wait.
Wet
and wait.
and wait. Very well. Excellent. Wet. You know, wet could be a humid, right? And wait. Wait is a verb, right? This is an adjective. This is a verb. Wait is to stay for a period of time for something to happen or for somebody to arrive. Very well. Vowel sound. Desk and desk. Desk, 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 desk. Another minimal pair. This is a vowel sound, right? One more. One more. Can anybody help me?
So and so.
That's right. Yeah. So and so. That's right, very well. A minimal pair. A sequencer and a past tense verb, right? The simple past of the verb see. Wait a sec. Oh my God. I just recovered. Oh my. Here you have, thank you for your efforts, of course. Here you have set and seed, short sound, long sound, desk and desk, wet wait, but. Those are the representations, okay? But. So. Not, notes. Bet. Fast, first. This is a consonant sound. Back. And consonant sound. Had, consonant sound. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, we're missing road, I think. Yeah, let me check. Road. Yeah, we're missing road. And what is the minimal pair? Right and road. Right and road. By the way, present simple or well, road is you know, has to do with the street, right? Or to in the highway. Well, here you have. Are we missing one? No, we're not. I think we're not. Now, take a look at this. We have the minimal pairs already. How? Well, by looking up the words in your dictionary, of course. But hardly ever are we going to remember. Well, we have short-term memory, a working memory, long-term memory. The idea is for words to become lifelong learning and to start using them for our own purposes, you know, in a meaningful manner. For doing so, you need to create concepts. You know, students who want to learn new words need to build up concepts. And what are concepts? Well, you need to relate the word to something, whether experience, a feeling, smell. It depends on your learning style, movement, situation, person, so that you can remember the word, because the word is going to have meaning. This is a concept. We do it from the very beginning, you know, since we are babies. We relate sounds to what is happening to us or to what happens in the environment, according to the language theory from Piaget, Vygotsky, you know, Brunner. Interaction is important. Interaction both with the environment and with people, or mothers, you know, from the very beginning. And we start creating these concepts that in the end, you know, follow a categorization process. Remember categorization? You explained that in your videos. For networks of lexis to happen. And we start accommodating, you know, we assimilate information, we have the words, let's say we have sit and zip. We start using them, we compare them, and once we use them for real purposes, we internalize meaning. And to internalize meanings is that you go from the general to the particular for you. You appropriate meaning. And you start discriminating when and why to use a specific word. And then, well, network constructions of words are likely to be developed then, you know, with a logical formation of phrases and then sentences, right? That's why we need repetition. You know, we need to repeat information so that we can learn it. It's, to a certain extent, a natural process. Yeah, the more we repeat, the more likely to remember words, There are different kinds of repetitions for learning, and linguists, experts in the field of syntax and morphology, well, provide with a couple of strategies. One of them is to go for symptomatic drills, that is symptomatic repetitions, and this is specifically for minimal pairs, and paradigmatic drills, paradigmatic repetitions. This is an example, okay? Sheep, sheep. A symptomatic drill would be don't sit in the seat. Don't sit in the seat. Now, a paradigmatic drill would be okay. Well, sleep and sleep. Don't sleep on the floor. Don't sleep on the floor. Don't sleep on the floor. It has got different meanings. Okay, it's sleep and sleep. So the difference is basically that for symptomatic drills, you need to use both words in a single sentence. And for paradigmatic drills, you used one word in a sentence, but then you change the word for the other one so that you can keep coherence, but changing the meaning. Interesting, right? So you need to be creative, and that pushes students, to go for critical thinking and, well, to try to use the words in complex imaginary situations, yeah, but eventually they will become familiar. Another example for a symptomatic drill would be, did you at least get the list? Well, different meanings, but you're using both words in a sentence so that you can discriminate the form, the meaning, and the use. An example for a paradigmatic drill. Is that a black sheep? Is that a black sheep? Okay. The meaning changes, of course, but the sentence remains, it stays the same.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
For the paradigmatic drills, do we have to use exactly the same sentence? But
That's
the
right.
only thing that will change is the word. Is that right?
It's correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
It's
That's correct. And that's, for you to be creative, it's not easy, yeah, it's not easy, but you need to be quite creative and you need to look for, opportunities to use the same sentence, changing the word and discriminating how the as well. Okay. To use a symptomatic drill is also difficult for minimal verbs, to include both words in a single sentence. Well, you need creativity, of course. Let's go back. Let's think of a symptomatic drill. Okay, symptomatic drill. I left the desk on the desk. A paradigmatic drill. Okay. I would like to buy that desk. I would like to buy that desk. Well, this is easy, right? But if you go for wet and wait, well, you will need to think a little bit more. right? So what you're going to do is to use this minimal pairs. I think we have for about 12, and to write both a symptomatic drill for each of them and a paradigmatic drill. So in the end, you're going to have for about 24 sentences. Okay. You're not going to do it now. No. Unless you want to try it out, you know, and you want to go for one example for your mates. But this is going to be homework for your dynamics in class, of course. That's the idea, you know, to do it for homework, to include it in your dynamics in class. So that would be number 2, symptomatic and paradigmatic drills. Okay, 1 per each. So you're gonna have 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Well, let's say 24 because we have also ride and road. I like to ride my bicycle on that road. Eh? Yeah, well, I was thinking of a paradigmatic drill, but that needs to be, you know, a little bit more complex for you. Now, one of the advantages of minimal pairs for the students is that they are able to perceive English pronunciation both accurately and fluently. What does that mean? Well, you need to be competent at form, but you also need to be competent at use. Accuracy and fluency are both part of proficiency. And you now have 2 different ways to practice, to go for repetition, to go for drills, and to use the minimal pairs. Discriminating sound, form, because the form also has to do with sounds, phonetics, and discriminating part of the speech, yeah, different verbs or a verb and a noun, and also identifying how to use the word, when to use it, okay, whether in a command, you know, an imperative sentence, a question, okay, the verb to be in a question form, etc. So this is gonna be useful for you. Now, not only do you have to go and write your sentences, well, you already have identified the minimal pairs, yeah. Those are the minimal pairs. And the presentation is gonna be uploaded, don't worry. But you also need to create your flashcards, okay? So we're going to work with flashcards, and we're going to work with symptomatic and paradigmatic drills, okay? This is another example. I love eating steak. I love eating snake. It doesn't make much sense, but well, it was, you know, a silly example. And you have the symptomatic drill. Are you eating a steak of a snake? Well, I don't think people really eat snakes, but anyways. Well, I have prepared an activity for practicing with symptomatic and paradigmatic drills, but unfortunately, we cannot do it because the sounds would be a mess. You know, when working online, we can barely discriminate the sounds of a person. The idea was to work in a circle. You were going to be given a couple of cards with sounds, and you needed to look for your minimal pair. But I don't think that's going to be possible. However, you could do it, you know, at home with your family, maybe, you know, or with your friends, with your neighbors. Yeah, you can start designing a couple of flashcards, yeah, for minimal pairs, describing the pronunciation in detail so that everybody can be sure how to pronounce the word. Then you make a circle, you go around, calling out the word until you find your minimal pair by means of the identification of the sound. You know, it's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun, and you learn. So you wanna give it a go. If you wanna try it, well, that would be great, right? You can play with your family, with your brothers, sisters, with your son, with your daughter, with your wife, with your parents, you know, with your friends there, your neighbors. And, well, you can learn and have fun at the same time. I can't find any way to do it online, you know, but I guess there must be one possibility to get together with your friends, you know, from the course, yeah, to compare your flashcards, and you can call out one word, and maybe one of your mates has to identify the minimal pair. That would be, you know, really useful. Okay, but it's up to you. You know, we cannot do it here because, well, we would spend more time than expected. But you could do it, you know, with your friends. Yeah, of course, that would be a good rule of thumb. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Do you have any questions about minimal pairs? So you have 2 pieces of homework, okay? Flashcards and your symptomatic and paradigmatic drills. Does anybody have a question about minimal pairs? Not really, right? Well,
Well, what's the second homework? The syntagmatic.
the second
Do you mind
homework.
explaining it again? Because I
Sure.
understood something else.
Well, what you're going to do is to design, 10 flashcards with minimal pairs. That's number 1.
Yeah, I got them.
And number 2, from these words, you're going to write both a symptomatic drill and a paradigmatic drill. Okay, so you need 2 sentences. Well,
All right. Yeah.
but not 2, but 3. You know, 3. You know why? Because for the paradigmatic drills, you need 2 different sentences. So you will have 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're gonna have for about 39. Yeah,
Sorry,
39.
but you said three, 2 different sentences, but I understood that for paradigmatic drills, you need that exactly the same sentence, but you only have to change the word.
That's right.
Okay,
Exactly.
so, well, only 2 sentences, really, no?
Only 2 sentences. Yeah, only 2. Yeah. And well, those are examples for you to follow. Yeah, this is what you're going to do with each. Both a symptomatic and paradigmatic. Okay. So that's why I was referring to 3, 1, 2, and 3. But indeed, they are just 2, 1, and 2 examples for each. So you're right. Okay.
Are we supposed to draw the image?
Sorry, can you repeat
Are
that?
we supposed to draw the image? The one on the last slide.
Well, no, not really, because you are using different tools. Some people
All
are
right.
working with Readlang, some other people are working with Canva, and others with Go Conquer. And it's up to you. It was a suggestion, but it depends on your creativity, on the
All
way
right.
you want to do it. You
Right.
don't have to.
Thank you.
Well, now I have a question for you. Okay, we're working with grammar, we're working with lexis at the same time. Can anybody help me with a definition of phrasal verbs? Maybe you can look it up there online. What are phrasal verbs? Well, of course, phrases, right? And they are actions. But if somebody has got a definition there, I would appreciate it. What are phrasal verbs? Huh?
Those are verbs made all together with a verb and an adverb.
In an adverb, yeah, which is usually referred to as particle. Sometimes it could be an adverb or even a preposition, or both, an adverb and a preposition. There are different kinds of phrasal verbs. 2-particle phrasal verbs or 3-particle phrasal verbs. Now, not only about the quantity of words that make up a phrasal verb, but also, you know, the way they are used. You know, sometimes you can use an object pronoun in the middle of a phrasal verb, or you need to use it at the end of the phrasal verb. So we have different kinds of phrasal verbs. Some people might believe that phrasal verbs are complex and that they need to be thought and learned progressively after, you know, let's say, a couple of hours of study, you know, let's say in the elementary level. However, there's some other researchers, scholars, such as Thornbury. Yeah, it's not that I believe that, you know, Scott Thornbury, or Jeremy Harmer, you know, 2002, 1997, 2010. Well, they believe that phrasal verbs are semi-fixed phrases that should be learned at the beginning of your studies. Why? Because they are useful, because they are everyday language, because they are a way of communication, and we can't help it, you know. You use basic phrasal verbs from the very beginning, such as, may I come in? Or what time do you get up? Get up, right? Come in. Stand up, sit down. We can't deny the fact that phrasal verbs are used from the very beginning. And of course, there is a complexity of the use of each of the phrasal verbs. It's not the same to learn look forward to than to learn to wake up, right? The use is different. The register, you know, varies. But to learn phrasal verbs from the very beginning, and during your whole studies, because you never stop learning phrasal verbs, is a good strategy for learning more vocabulary and for learning how to communicate what you want to express. How can you learn phrasal verbs? Well, basically by discrimination. Discriminating formality and informality. Academic register, low register. Okay? Phrasal verbs are usually used for the spoken speech. That is for speaking, for talking. Because there is always one equal word, which is a formal one, for academic writing, or, you know, for formal speech. Instead of saying stand up, you could say erase, or, you know, raise yourself, or, you know, instead of saying may I come in, may I enter the classroom. Of course, it's gonna, you know, the register is gonna sound weird. Yeah, the register is gonna sound strange. Just imagine a student asking a teacher the very first day of classes, Professor, may I enter the classroom? Well, the teacher is gonna say, oh my gosh, we have what a high register of the student. The most common thing is to say, may I come in, right? Otherwise, a register was gonna sound strange. And that's also part of learning vocabulary. You start discerning, you know, and discriminating the moments and situations when to use words, you know, the appropriate moments for using specific words. Instead of going for to find out the meaning of a word, yeah. If you want to sound more formal, you say to discover the meaning of a word. So you always have one formal possibility for replacing phrasal verbs, and the opposite, you have a more familiar way to express and communicate according to the context. It's the same that happens with your mother tongue, you know, the way you talk to your friends and the words you choose every single moment, because we're making decisions every single minute, might differ from the words you decide to use for talking to your parents, right? You change the register constantly according to the situation. It's not that we suffer from a personality disorder or anything, because what we do indeed is to differentiate contexts, okay, situations, people. And it's amazing, you know, how we decide to use certain words for specific situations. In English, well, this is gonna take more time because we are learning the meaning to then go for the use. But phrasal verbs are very important for dimensioning both form, meaning, and also for dimensioning the use of the words. One more piece of homework, okay? Design 10 flashcards for phrasal verbs. Which ones? I'm gonna tell you in a minute, okay? Because we have, let's say, millions of phrasal verbs. What we need to do is to delimitate the ones we want to learn, because there are lots, okay? Not even a native speaker knows every single phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs are constantly changing as well. They might mean something in a territory, in another one, in another place. They are semi-fixed, okay? 10 phrasal verbs with the following roots with the following main verbs. Yeah? Get and look. Because they are, let's say, the most common verbs you're gonna find for the A1 and A2 level according to the Common European Framework of Reference of Languages. Okay. Now, you decide the complexity of your phrasal verbs. Okay. You decide it. You could use, for example, very basic ones such as get in or get to or get out, or you could increase the level of the phrasal verb you want to learn. For example, get on by, get on by. What is the meaning of the phrasal verb get on by? Can anybody help me? This is a three-particle phrasal verb. Get on by. Well, the meaning is to survive with a small amount of money. Okay? It's not the same to learn to get out, which means to live, than to learn to get on by and to know how to use it, you know, and to know that it means to survive. Or, you know, get up, you know, to stand or to raise yourself. That's a basic one that everybody knows, I'm almost sure, or that you're likely to learn. Than to learn, get down to, which means to start working hard. I really need to get down to my homework. So the complexity of phrasal verbs depends a lot on the context you want to use them.
Can we use the ones on that slide?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but that's my recommendation.
All right.
Yeah, that's my recommendation to use and to form as many phrasal verbs as possible. Well, the instruction was to design 10, but you can design more flashcards, you know. Indeed, you can use these phrasal verbs to be included in your vocabulary charts for this week, you know. For example, the phrasal verb get through, okay, is not the same as to go through. You know, get through means to complete. Okay, or get at. Has plenty of different meanings, you know. To try to get to a point, to try to understand, you know, it has got different meanings. Or look into, to investigate, you know. Or the differences, this is very interesting, you know. Look up, you look up a word, you don't look for a word, but you look it up. And you have two possibilities to say, I want to look up that word, or I want to look it up. Okay, so learning phrasal verbs is learning real communication. Yeah, it helps a lot. And you always have the possibility to change the phrasal verb for a formal word. There is always one equal word. The register is going to be raised, you know, it's going to be higher. But that's important for you because you start discriminating context. And you say, okay, I'm going to use search when I'm talking to the headmaster of the school, but I'm gonna use look for when I'm talking to my classmates, to my friends. So you start making decisions, okay? You have many phrasal verbs here, such as look at or look forward to, you know, or look back, etc. So you have this third piece of homework, 10 flashcards with phrasal verbs, flashcards, phrasal verbs. Okay. How many particles may a phrasal verb have? Well, it depends, 2 or even 3. Well, the next was an activity for you guys to practice with phrasal verbs. It was going to be really fun, but I'm sorry. I didn't find any way to do it. You know, I'm feeling better now, you know. By the way, sorry, but I can speak more clearly, right? Wow, thank God. Yeah. I was going to the doctor, but I don't really want to go to the doctor, you know, it's dangerous. Well, I couldn't find a way to practice with this, you know, I couldn't. But you can do it at home. You could, of course you can. Yeah. You have a memory game, you know, or you can try to guess the formal way of the phrasal verb with a friend, you know, or you can read, of course. By reading you learn a lot of phrasal verbs. This was more for a kinesthetic learning style, you know, to stand up, to listen to a phrasal verb, and to write the formal word that was keeping the same meaning. Well, but we can't do it. Just one remark. Phrasal verbs are used for informal contexts, okay? There is always one equal form for the formal context. For example, go down, go down. Well, that's informal, low register. What is the formal way to express that a phrasal verb? Well, decrease. Or go up, increase, which is the opposite. Or make up, constitute, or make up for, compensate. Okay, so we usually have the let's say the both the formal and informal way to express something. Carry out, to do, you know, basically conduct. Come out, to be published. Come up with, invent, originate, design, or present, produce, propose. How many meanings do we have here, right? Just imagine. Get hold of, acquire. Get in touch, contact, or turn on, activate. But just imagine yourself asking your father or your mother or your wife or your husband, can you activate the lights? It doesn't sound natural at all, you know, it sounds strange. You need to go for a phrasal verb there. For, you know, becoming competent at the language, you need to discriminate those situations. And you need to say, can you turn the lights on? Well, that's different, right? And well, of course, it's not only that we have one meaning for a phrasal verb, that's the complexity of phrasal verbs. And that's why, you know, some scholars and teachers prefer to go for phrasal verbs once you are in the pre-intermediate or intermediate level, B1 or B1 plus. Because phrasal verbs have very different meanings. Turn on in a different situation may have a completely different meaning. No? It depends on the situation, what you're talking about. And all of them, that's why they are really complex. But start identifying, to start identifying those different contexts and situations is to raise awareness on language. That's what I believe, and that's why some other scholars too. Take a look at this slide. I'm gonna ask you to study the presentation again, or maybe you want to take a picture of the screen, a short screen, so that you can study these verbs. Okay, break, come, call, carry, cut, get, go, make, pick, mix, set, take, turn. According to scholars, we can learn in a single class no more than 14 new words, no more, okay, pedagogically speaking. We have plenty here. So let's say you just concentrate on 14 different phrasal verbs, okay? How to learn them, it's up to you. You already know the different resources, the different strategies that you could follow. It depends on how you learn, of course. Learn 14 for next Tuesday, because next Tuesday we're going to practice with a couple of keyword transformations, okay, to change the phrasal verbs for the formal words. To change the formal words for phrasal verbs. Okay. For example, we took on 3 new members of staff and they all turned up late on their first day. Turn up could be replaced by arrived. Okay, and that would be the formal way. The temperature decreased to 100 degrees. The temperature went down. Okay, so try to learn at least 14 phrasal verbs. They are basic phrasal verbs, okay. And then we will be able to carry out these 2 exercises next Tuesday. Now, oh my God. Remember that you need to keep on working with your entry for this week, your vocabulary chart, and so far we have 3 pieces of homework. Plus this one, this is very easy, and you have already done it, at the beginning of the course, if you can remember. You investigated about the 3 different dimensions of language. You investigated what a dialect is. You have already studied irreversible word pairs, the previous lesson. Those are idioms. And now you need to add what is slang. What is slang? This is, controversial because some people
but
believe...
we already did that.
Ah, yeah, you did it? Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah, thank God. Well, forget about this. Now we're gonna be ready to use all that knowledge for a very nice topic, which is culture dimension. Okay, learning a second culture. This is brilliant, I really love. I'm very passionate about social linguistics. And I want to show you a couple of videos that are going to be really insightful for you, really, let's say, controversial, yeah, but also they're going to raise discussion, which is a really healthy for critical thinking and for thinking of language, you know, discussing language. So you already have this piece of homework. Well, perfect, you know. Some references for you. Well, Garner, Nonan. I forgot to include here Jeremy Harmer and Scott Thornbury, how to, well, I'm going to include it next time. Well, we're going to stop it here because I really want to, you know, well, drink a cup of tea or something, and then I have another class. But well, I think we did very well today. Yeah, it was a short and sweet. Yeah, we made it short and sweet, and you have homework. Okay, you have homework, and next class we're going to watch a couple of videos which are going to be really fun. I promise. Okay, it's going to be a little bit more interactive. Does anybody have a question or a comment? Well, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, Alfred.
Oh, I just want to do a quick recap on the homework because I'm not sure about which one are we supposed to do. Okay, we got vocabulary chart, we got journal, we got 10 flashcards with minimal pairs. After that, we saw a slide, the one where we identified the minimal pairs, and we were supposed to underline the consonants and vowel sounds. Are we supposed to add that one to the sample sentences? That we are supposed to make 33 sample sentences, which minimal pairs, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we are supposed to add those minimal pairs to those sentences, right?
That's right.
All right. And after that, we got 10 sentences with phrasal verbs.
Correct.
And we are supposed to study phrasal verbs as well.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we got 7 homeworks. Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
You have 7 pieces of homework, but you know they are doable. I believe they are.
Yeah, kind of small. Yeah.
And well, it's because next time we're gonna use that information. Okay, for closing up phrasal verbs, it's gonna. Of course, this was a very short class. Yeah. But you can work by your own. You can do it by your own. And then we need to move on because we're just missing 5 more lessons, I think so. 5 more lessons. Well, 5 more weeks. And hopefully we're going to cover what we expected. Okay, that's why. And you're doing a lot of homework, you know, that's something you're helping me with because otherwise, well, it wouldn't be possible to cover everything, you know, but I think we are working collaboratively and, you know, supporting each other and of course, if you can't cover one piece of homework, you can ask me, you can write me an email, you know, you can write me and we can reach agreement together, of course. You know, I'm open to dialogue and to, you know, receiving your feedback. Well, thank you very much, students. Take care. Please don't go out if you don't need to. Yeah, you know, I got ill. I don't know where. I got the cold, and well, it's dangerous. Huh? You know, I thought I was gonna be healthy all this time, but no, it happened to me. Well, I don't think that's coronavirus. No, I don't think so, because I feel quite strong. But just you know, listen to me. I'm sniffing all the time. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. We keep in touch, and I'll see you next Tuesday for closing up phrasal verbs and to continue with cultural dimension. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Get better.
Get
Thanks.
well.